One of the first questions when you meet someone in Germany is often, what do you do for work? You probably won't talk about money in that first conversation, but with your friends, you would more often talk about what you make, if you're happy with it, what your goals are. I have a German friend who I think in every manager check-in with her manager, she'll go, I need a pay rise. And she repeats it every time. I'm not happy with my salary.
Is that one of the weaknesses of the Kiwi mentality towards money, that she'll be right attitude?
I think when it comes to the topic of money, it helps to be more direct and just try to not be nice for a second and just ask for what you really want.
Let's take a quick kind of pivot to personal finances. Yes. Are you good with money? Do you class yourself good with money?
I learned to be good with money. I never got taught anything about investing. So I just, one day, I thought, I'm going to learn everything there is about it. So I read, I think 5, 6, 7 books on the same topic of how do you invest, how do you get ahead. Even though everyone has a different philosophy, the same themes kind of emerge.
Yes. What would you say to a business owner who is struggling with their idea to get it launched and then it doesn't work? What advice would you give to them?
I think the best way to think about it is to just
Welcome to Fresh Money. Just a quick note, this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, please make sure you contact a financial advisor to get professional advice. Or get in touch and we can point you in the right direction. The Fresh Money Podcast is proudly sponsored by the Booster Foundation. They're supporting Fresh Money so we can keep having honest tala noa about money, building confidence, and helping our people create stronger financial futures. Talofa lava, I'm Willie, the host of the Fresh Money Podcast. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about all things money. Doesn't matter whether it's your personal finance, business, or in your career. If it involves money, we'll be talking about it. And today we have the privilege of having Corinna Stukan. She is the CEO, co-founder of Bizzy, the platform that is helping businesses get business loans. Corinna.
Hi.
Welcome to the Fresh Money Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. How are you?
I am good. I've had a busy start to the year.
A busy start. I see what you did there.
Been very busy with busy. I've been using this joke way too much, but it's
a good
true.
one.
It's a good and it's also a good problem to have. So it's been exciting.
So tell me a little bit around what Bizzy is and how you help your customers.
So we're a business lending online marketplace. Basically, if you run a business in New Zealand and you want capital to start or grow your business, you often need capital to do so. And
so capital, you mean money?
Money.
Yep.
Money.
Sweet.
Cash.
Yes.
And your options are either if you're a small business or medium-sized business, so you're not the big enterprise yet where you have a bank relationship manager to talk to.
Gotcha.
You're somewhere in the early stages or in the first few years of running and growing your business. It's a really hard landscape to navigate and so many different options and so many different providers, banks, non-banks, and it's really hard to find the right option for your business that actually suits your goals.
Yep.
So we make basically the comparison easier.
Okay.
So instead of applying to different lenders individually and kind of telling them the same information over and over again, you only have to apply once through our online platform.
Awesome.
And we have a panel of currently 15 New Zealand business lending specialists, so different providers that are really focused on business lending in that small to medium-sized business space. So really stoked we've been spending the last year building out that panel. And they're all on our platform and get your request for your business and can assess it and give you basically quotes for a potential business loan if it's suitable for them.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you go to one place,
Correct.
Bizzy, and you do one application, and then it can kind of typically get fired out to 15 different or lenders who provide business loans, and they come back with you going, this is the loan we can do, and these are the kind of interest rates and different terms.
And the terms and all of that good stuff. And the good thing is it's all online. It doesn't impact your credit score. which is also a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't know. If you shop around, which from a customer point of view, it's a smart thing to shop around and compare options.
Yep.
But sometimes, and you might know this from the home lending space, when you shop around and get all these different companies or lenders do a credit check on you, it may impact your credit score as well. So it reduces your chances to actually get approved at the end. And so it's all online, doesn't impact your credit score, and you get responses from our lender panel usually within 24 hours on a working day.
That's super quick.
Instead of weeks.
Yeah, that's really, really quick.
Yes.
Because sometimes even just putting your name down, waiting for, even on a Contact Me page, you know, you put your name down and it takes like a day or two for them to get back to you.
Yes.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So it's... we're really fundamentally changing how people browse and compare. Yep. There are things like this overseas that we've seen work really well. So that's where some of that inspiration came from in the UK. I'm originally from Germany. Awesome. You have a lot of pages where you can compare different options. Yep. And we've just found, we're a group of co-founders I'm more from the technology place, moved into finance accidentally.
Nice.
Now loving it.
So you're technical. Yeah.
I am.
That right?
Yeah, that was my original background. And we've kind of put our heads together and said, this is something that Kiwi businesses don't have access to.
Yeah, cool.
And this is something that's really impacting Kiwi businesses in the early stages, especially of their business. Wow. Because if you don't have capital to grow or to invest in your business, a lot of businesses get stuck in the early stages.
Yeah, true.
Or if you end up with if you do end up getting a loan and it's a wrong loan, there's a lot of good and bad in lending.
Yes.
If you end up with bad debt, you can also really change the trajectory to the worst, to a worse outcome at the end. Yep. So we think it's a really meaningful place to give people better access to the different options available.
That's really cool. And how many people have used your platform kind of today? Oh, when did you start?
We launched 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So we actually, it's funny because
fresh out the gate.
We are fresh, although it does not feel like it at all because
there's a lot of prep and a lot of work.
There's so much prep, and especially being a marketplace, we had to build out the providers first, right? Bring them on the platform because there's no point.
Well, that's tricky. Just even thinking about a marketplace, which one, how do you get, is it the chicken or is it the egg kind of scenario?
That's right. So we worked really hard for the last 12 to 18 months, getting all the different providers on board, agreeing on how they provide quotes to businesses so it's really transparent for the customer. I think that's another area where we put a lot of work into how do we present quotes. And we're still iterating on that. We still get customer feedback. I talk to all the business owners, and it's such a murky space that we're still refining, improving every day how we present things more transparently without the jargon to customers so they can make an informed decision. So it's been
it's good to get a
18
quote,
months of that. Yeah.
Like, how do you understand the quote? Yeah, you got to take it apart and deconstruct it and go, what does this mean?
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So how many people have come through in 6 months?
Yes, so we had about over 100 businesses in the first 6 months come through. We've done a small start first because we wanted to test, does this work? Yes. It's a completely new concept to market. So we really wanted to make sure the platform works. It's all online as well, right? So we started slowly, and then over the last 2-3 months, we've been really starting to ramp up, work with different business groups and communities as well, business owners. Cool. So I feel like this year is where we're really starting.
Yeah, awesome.
But I'm really stoked with the offering that we have, the providers we have on board, and that's still going to grow. So we're on day one, I would say. But we've already helped a lot of business owners, which has been very fulfilling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. People always say business lending, it must be so boring. But I actually get to talk to business owners every day. Yeah. So it's really fun.
I think in a way, it's like the hidden part. It's like the hidden rocket fuel for creative ideas, which are businesses. Like that's how I see businesses as people who are very creative, bringing this idea and making it like come alive and making it real and helping and solving people's problems. Yeah, that's how I see it. And the lending,
exactly right.
Yeah, while people can view it as boring, the lending is actually what you need to propel that business idea of yours. Yeah.
Exactly right. Well, you know this from the home lending space, right?
Yep.
It's no one wants a loan for the home, but they want that
The
home
thing.
for their family and to grow,
Yes.
their family and live their life in that house. So it's a lot more than just about business lending to me. It's about what is the business idea, their dreams, their vision of what they want to achieve. And now it's about finding them the right support financially, the right capital options to support their business growth.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. I want to deep dive into Bizzy.
Yes.
But yeah, essentially, tell me about you're from Germany.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You're now in New Zealand. Like, what was like growing up in Germany? Is it obviously completely different to
Very
here?
different to here. Yes. So I've been in New Zealand for 12 years now. So it feels like this is. Both are my homes now.
Yep.
I really feel
Two
like,
homes now.
I
Cool.
do have two homes, which I'm very grateful for. Germany was very different in the sense that it's a very busy place. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of ambition. It's just a very driven culture, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And I think that is inherently in me. I'm very ambitious. I love growth. I love learning. I grew up in the south of Germany, near Munich. It's probably the place most people know.
Yes.
And grew up in a town called Ingolstadt, which is a small city, 100,000 people, but it's the headquarters of Audi. So my dad worked for Audi for a long time.
True.
My entire family is actually from Poland.
Okay.
So they immigrated to Germany for better work and life opportunities many decades ago, so before I was born. So that is my heritage is actually Eastern Europe.
Awesome.
But then my parents came to Germany, and then I was born in Germany and grew up basically there. And I studied software engineering.
Wow.
And I think I felt it's one of these things where in hindsight, I'm not sure how I got into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you... Was it something you knew about, or everyone in Germany was doing that?
There are a lot of engineers in Germany. I think it's one of these cliches. It's one of these paths that...
Okay.
It's a good career.
Yeah.
And so I was driven, but I was also really analytical, and I have a problem-solving mind. And I bought my first computer and laptop pretty early in my teenage years when they were coming out. And I just loved tinkering with it. That's all I remember. I just loved tinkering and I installed all these different softwares.
Because obviously, just contrasting the different cultures, like that is not a typical path for Kiwis.
No.
But it sounds like it was the normal path.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of people go into what they call proper career, right? You go to like law and finance or engineering.
Yes.
So it was one of these things.
Engineering was like up there with like law, finance, becoming a doctor.
Or the German car engineering, a lot of large companies over there. So I actually, funny story was I did think about a business degree first. So doing, master, like a Bachelor of Business or something. And I applied and I even got approved. But then I found the people really stiff, and I just liked how casual the people in the technical faculty were. And it was just a gut decision at that point. I don't mean at that point in your life. You don't really know much about where your life is going to take you. So it was really just a gut feeling. I like that vibe more.
Yeah, cool.
It's a bit more casual. It's problem solving. It's technology. It was exciting. I thought I had an analytical brain. So I just gave it a go.
Which is business in the end.
Yeah.
Problem solving.
Actually is. And so now, all the way around, I ended up in business.
Yeah, that's so funny. Full circle.
Yes, I've come full circle. So I studied software engineering and then worked as an actual developer for a couple years. Yeah. I did a BlackBerry application.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how long ago that was.
That was with buttons. Yeah. Phones had buttons.
Yeah, that's right, a keyboard. So that was my first role, but I wasn't very good at being heads down, just a developer. And so I moved through different roles, but I've always been in the tech and the digital application space.
Cool.
So developing mobile apps. I worked for a lot of finance companies by accident. So I worked for, in Germany, a company that was basically like Xero, but over in Germany. So an tool for accounting practices. And so moved through different roles in the digital application space and came to New Zealand. It was meant to be for a year. and ended up, it's been 12 years
Was it just
and counting.
a holiday or?
It was meant to be to travel, to take some time off work after studies and just to travel and see, what the rest of the world looks like, and just absolutely loved it here, loved the people, loved the culture. And then I thought, I'll stay another year, and now it's
really?
second home. Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, there was no rational decision making. I'm going to move to New Zealand for 12 years.
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
Just, it happened.
So tell me a bit about, like, with money in your upbringing, like, is that something that your parents or typical, like, German families, do they talk about money?
I think in German culture, you do talk about money more openly.
Yep.
Because it's such an ambitious culture in general.
I see.
One of the first questions when you meet someone in Germany is often, what do you do for work? And you probably won't talk about money in that first conversation, but with your friends, you would, I find, more often talk about what you make, if you're happy with it, what your goals are. You're also more open, I find. I have a German friend who I think in every manager check-in with her manager, she'll go, I need a pay rise. And she repeats it every time. I'm not happy with my salary.
That's just normal?
It's a bit more normal, I would say, or a bit more common than here, if you just generalize it a little bit. And I think that's freeing. For me personally, I didn't have a massive... my family was, did really well for them coming to Germany and then built the whole career over there. And so they did really well over those years in Germany. They were just hardworking and worked their way up. So I came from, in that sense, a great education and great basis. But I've never got taught about real life finance, if that makes sense.
Like budgeting,
personal
loans,
investing, loans, how to start a business. I was just over in Germany for Christmas, and my dad went, I don't know where you have that business side from, that entrepreneurial side, because that's not them at all. They were very happy being in a large company. And that was perfect for them. And somehow I think I like more risk and I like more adventure, and went down a different path in the end.
That's awesome.
But never had that side taught to me. So everything now is very self-taught.
What in your experience is kind of the biggest difference between New Zealand culture and German culture when it comes to kind of money and finance?
I think I would say it's common in Europe in general, take the emotion out of that topic a little bit, which I think is helpful in some ways, because money is can be a very emotional topic. It can be really stressful on a personal level. If you're running a business, cash flow or your personal cash flow, it can be very stressful, or bringing it up with people. There's a lot of shame around it. I see this a lot with business owners coming to Bizzy, for example. They think something went wrong, that they need a loan. So there's a lot of, and you'd see the same in personal lending, or just in general, people feel like, I should be doing this, but I'm not there. So there's a lot of shame around it. And I think in Europe, I find it's a bit more, it's just money. It's a bit more, you take the emotion out of it, which I think can be helpful, because it makes you ask for the things if you're an employee and you're not happy with, going back to my friend who just outright says every time, I'm not happy with my salary. And all you can do is ask the question and share how you feel, or share if you're not happy. And if the other person decides one way or the other, you can't control that, but at least you can you can share your own side of the story.
I like that. In a way, I like that the emotion is put aside. So you can actually ask the questions that you really want to ask without feeling judged or guilty or ashamed. So you can get to the truth quicker without actually feeling bad. So that I find it's been helping. It helped me on a personal level. And I think it's something that I've always kind of taken with me in life. And I think more people should ask for what they want, or what they need, or what they feel they deserve. That's what I ended up, that was one of my key takeaways from learning at the bank.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't ask, you won't get it.
You don't get.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah. If you don't ask, it's already a no.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
and the worst they're going to say is no.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Exactly. But I do think money is universally still a loaded topic for everyone, right? And so now when we talk to business owners on Bizzy, for example, there's so many businesses that go, nah, it's fine, I got enough cash flow. And then 3 months later, we'll have the same conversation again.
I would need a little bit more.
Yeah.
You're just on that type of convo. Is that one of the, I suppose, weaknesses of the Kiwi kind of mentality towards money and finance, that she'll be right kind of attitude?
I think in certain areas, like money, I don't think it's very helpful. I don't think anything is good or better, or I don't think the German culture is better than here or vice versa. I think what I personally really love in New Zealand is that laid-back culture, right? That's why I enjoy people love being here so much, is because it's so, people are so friendly, so open, so easygoing. So I don't think it's a weakness or a strength or anything. But I think when it comes to the topic of money, it helps to be more direct and just try to not be nice for a second and just ask for what you really want.
Yeah. Interesting.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. That's crazy.
Yeah. So that directness helps.
What German, like, I'm asking a lot about
I love
questions
it.
because I think we should learn about other cultures and what other cultures do well with money, and you can apply it to yourself and your situation, because, you know, we don't have it all sorted out. You know, you can look at all the statistics in New Zealand. We don't have all the answers, so maybe we should look at other cultures and see what they're doing well, and potentially apply some of those themes and or what things are working there to us. So that's why I'm asking. Pacific is different again. Strengths and weaknesses to our culture and how we deal with money. But I think it's good to see other. That's what I love about traveling. You know, you get to see different ways of how people do life. And actually, maybe I should slow down here. Maybe I should go faster here.
Oh, you're exactly right. I think coming to New Zealand for me personally, I learned that more. It's not just all about work. There's also a different side to life, right? And so that part I absolutely love. So everything I say, there's no right or wrong, or there's no perfect place, but I also love taking different things from different cultures because they can all teach you something.
Yeah, big time. Like, because you see it in the world, like we're all tearing each other down, or not all of us, but in the media, people are tearing each other down because of the differences, where we should be celebrating the differences, the positive parts of other cultures, and it enriches all of us and together.
Yes. I couldn't have said it any better.
So let's dive deeper into Bizzy.
Yes.
Who came up and how did you come up with the idea?
So from my side, I'll tell my part of the story, and then there's all these parties that came together. This is my third try building something in this space. That's also why when you ask me, how long have you been around? And it's been 6 months live in market, and I feel it's been literally years because it has been many years.
Oh, I totally relate, because Fresh Moni has started a long time ago, really, in here and in here.
Exactly. And then you think about it, you let it sit, you do some research, you talk to some people, you try one thing, maybe it doesn't go anywhere, you park it.
Or you pivot, or it changes slightly.
So that's been pretty much my story. About 7 years ago, I was working for a New Zealand company that was building digital applications. And we were working with a lot of the major banks here in New Zealand. That's how I accidentally fell into finance. And so we were working on the business banking apps, also personal, you know, when you do your personal, everyday banking, really, your mobile apps, your web apps. We've been doing a lot of that type of development and design work for the major banks here in New Zealand. one of the products I built was a small business tool around cash flow.
Okay.
So it would integrate if you run a
cash flow,
business.
that's just basically the money that comes in and goes out of the business.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So we found that business owners, I've done a lot of research for that bank during that time, and we found that business owners that still have to do everything themselves. So they don't have a big finance team, but they're running, a lot of things themselves or in a small team. They find it really hard to understand kind of the accounting terms and the finance terms, and actually understanding when does money come in, when are my bills due, when does it go out again, how can I manage cash flow throughout the year, manage seasonal dips, all of that good stuff. So we built a tool that integrated with your accounting tool that you would run for your business.
Gotcha.
And would give you what we call more human readable insights.
Cool.
Just in plain English, you're doing well, you're out of, you're in the minus.
Yep.
You should chase up some invoices. Some people have not paid you on time, those types of insights.
Yeah, cool.
It was an amazing concept. I talked to hundreds of business owners during that research and testing process. We even expanded into Australia with the owning bank of the New Zealand bank, and did really well. And scaled it out for over hundreds and hundreds of businesses. And the next step was we actually wanted to integrate it with the bank, and that's where it fell over. It took too long. It was really hard from a technical point of view to integrate it with internal systems, because our long-term vision was now you can open a bank account, now you can maybe get with all that data. If you do need finance, you can get a business loan.
Interesting.
So that was obviously part of the offering.
Yep.
Because one thing is telling people you have a cash flow problem.
Yeah.
The other thing is actually then helping them find the right solution for it.
Yeah, cool.
So I found we did really well with that first part, making them understand their current financial position, but we really struggled to give them the full solution of fixing if there was an issue, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
And long story short, with that bank, it was really hard. After a few years, we just ran out of investment and we had to shut it down. So I knew in that moment, this is a space I loved and I thought was really meaningful. And I loved talking to business owners, and I'm going to be back one day.
Awesome.
And then got busy with other things. And then a few years later, I found myself pitching to another bank a similar type of offering.
Yep.
And that died in ideation and pitching stage. After a year, I said, okay, I'm going to try it another way. Yeah. And then, a couple of years later, I finished up at the last company, the app development consultancy that I was part of. I was there for 8 years. So New Zealand started business. We grew it into Australia, Singapore, and then sold it.
No way.
It was an incredible journey to be part of. And so I found myself in this position where I love those 8 years and that company so much. And I've learned so much. It was really hard to just jump into the next thing. And I thought really hard about what I want to do. And I said, you know what? I really love that space, business lending, finance, helping business owners. I knew I wanted to get back into it. So I was talking to different people, and I had my old concept still that I was pitching to the banks. And through lots of connections I've built over the years, that's a beautiful thing about New Zealand. You built some really great relationships over the years, and it's such a nice network of people. So I met up with a couple people that came more from a finance background, a lending background.
Gotcha.
And they actually started a marketplace, but it was in a really specific part of lending for one particular invoice finance, if you know that space. And that was their background.
Just lending against the invoice that is
correct.
Due to come in.
Yeah. So I saw that and I thought, I need to talk to these people. I know I have some ideas of the things I've tried and I think that customers or business owners need. And we put our heads together and then built Bizzy from scratch, really. A new brand, new offering. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it's one of these things that I had a go at from different lenses. And they also tried some things in that space, and we've come together with all the learnings. All the learnings and built
all that knowledge
and launched Bizzy.
And combined it all.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes.
Just a quick break here, whānau. Over the past 2 years running Fresh Moni, we've heard again and again that buying your first home can feel really tough. But we've helped so many Pasifika families get there, and if that's you, please get in touch. We'd love to help. Just a question around, the idea you had early on, like what would you say to a business owner who is struggling with their idea to get it launched and then it doesn't work? What advice would you give to them?
I think the best way to think about it is to just have an open mind. We have so many ideas. If I think back, I had so many ideas that went absolutely nowhere. And so I think, again, maybe it's a German in me to detach yourself from your idea and just be open and just go with one idea, talk to customers. That's probably the number one thing, is talk to your actual customers and test whether this resonates with them. And if not, all good. Try a different angle, refine it, go back to the drawing board. Yep. I think a lot of people have an idea and then try to make this one idea exactly the way they initially thought of it work.
Interesting.
And I think that's when you get stuck.
Yep.
The best things I have seen in my personal journey and also with I talked to some other founders, which I just see so many concepts they've actually gone through, sometimes different names of the business, they've pivoted the business model, how they charge, the name of it. So I think keeping an open mind and just keep chipping away and trying different things is the best thing someone can do for their business.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just listening to a book called The Lean Startup.
Yes.
It's an old book,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what his kind of advice is, like that first kind of idea and product you bring out won't be the real one that, is not necessarily the one that takes off and becomes, successful and can pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah. That's a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that one.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Oh, awesome. So So how do you actually come together as a team and kind of align and know and understand each other, work together? Are you in one place or are you spread out? Or?
Yeah, so we have a team now of different people. So we've design, technology, because obviously we're an online platform. Yep. So a big part of our business is designing, building and refining the online app. Yep. So that's a core part of the team. In terms of the co-founders, so I am running the day-to-day of the business as a CEO. Cool. And I'm the most day-to-day involved. Yep. And then they are the other co-founders are on the board. And we meet up basically regularly on how the business is going. I zoom out. It helps me zoom out as well. And so we found our operating rhythm, I'd say. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and I think we all bring different parts of our experiences into it, which I think is the good part. So, going back to anyone starting with a business idea, I think it's also making sure you have the right skills in place with the right people in the mix. You can't know it all, especially in a complex space like this. I can't know it all. Right. So I do rely on everyone and their background and their expertise. Yep. And we all come together, and I think that's what makes us such a great team to be in.
Awesome. For your customers that are coming to get a loan, what do they need to know? What do they need to provide? Is there anything they can prepare for completing a home loan application? Oh, not a home loan, a business loan application. Sorry. I'm just so used to saying a home
every
loan.
Every day you're doing home loans, Okay, so there are two different paths, I would say. One is for if you're starting a new business, and one is for you're already running a business and you now need capital. So I'll talk about that one first because that's the more straightforward one. And so if you're already running a business, let's say you've been running your restaurant for several years, right? Like most of our customers are, for example, retailers, tradies, construction, hospitality, so really those types of industries. If you've been running your restaurant for a few years and now let's say you want to expand into a new site, that's one of the cases we cater for. Is you want to expand your existing business. What you need to have is your finances up to date. Yep. That's the most boring but most important piece. Is actually
what do you mean
knowing.
By that?
It's actually knowing where are you currently, and then also what do you want to achieve.
Gotcha.
Because I think a lot of answers are in those two things before you even talk finance terms. So to give you a recent example, we had a lot of tradies and construction businesses come through end of last year. It's always the same in that type of industry where at the end of a year, over Christmas, you still have staff to pay, you still have outgoings, but your projects will often pause. And then you might resume projects again in January, but then by the time your customers pay you, it's February. So that often puts a business owner out of pocket for a couple months. That doesn't mean you're not running a good business. That doesn't mean you are out of money. It just means the timing of when money comes in versus when you have to pay people.
It's a bit clunky,
out of whack.
Yeah.
So that's a really common scenario. So in that case, again, making sure you have your finances up to date in December. I would say the earlier the better. So ideally you make a cash flow forecast. 3 months.
So essentially you have to plan and foresee that you're going to have a shortage over that Christmas period.
Exactly.
And then go, what am I going to do about that shortage, Because
exactly.
I need money to pay people. Okay.
It's always easier to get finance when you're not in an emergency situation.
When you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
To prep for when you will need it.
Okay. So that's the number one thing, is really just be proactive about it. And again, that's where I think we often like to stick our head into the sand.
She'll be right. I'll just ask for it then, because you're busy, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And I've done it too, so I really, really empathize with that. But the best thing is, before you even ask for finance, is get prepared. Do your cash flow forecast, see what's coming up. Do you have maybe seasonal dips, or do you want to expand? The restaurant owner wants to expand to a new site. Think ahead. Then prepare your finances and then apply. Obviously, as I shared at the start, the easiest way is to go and compare different options, really get a handle of the different options that are out there. It can be very confusing. That's the reason why we built Bizzy, because there's so many different... So in a home loan, I'll start with that example. You get a loan and the bank will take the home as a security, right? So if you can't repay your loan...
They will take the house.
They will take the house.
Okay.
Now, in a business lending scenario, it's not as, there are different paths of securing that loan. You can, for example, if you buy a new digger for your company, you can secure it against the digger. If you have, and that is actually a very common scenario because property is so big in New Zealand, a lot of people are starting the businesses by getting a loan against their personal property. So now you're mixing personal and business. It's a path. It's one of the options. Neither good or bad. It's more a case of...
It's just what I have.
Do you want that? Is that sometimes it's the best option, you get the best terms, but some people might not want that. So again, it depends on so many different factors. Or some business lenders, they lend against your cash flow. So they don't take a security over your house or your digger, but they might just look at, okay, you've been running for 2 years. You consistently have 20K every month coming in.
You get a lot of money.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then they can give you what they call an unsecured loan just against by assessing your cash flow. Cool. So there's so many different options. And so this is going to be a very biased answer to that last step, but obviously... I think rather than having to figure out, and that's always been my biggest gripe when I worked with a lot of the finance companies here, is they use all these finance jargon terms. They'll go, we have an invoice finance loan, or we have an asset loan, we have this loan. I don't think business owners or customers should have to figure out which loan they should apply for. True. So for me, it's about telling us, what do you want to achieve with your business? You want to expand, you have some seasonal gaps, you want a buffer, a cash flow buffer that you can just tap into, or the long term, whatever it may be, you tell us what you actually want to achieve. And then the different lenders might find different ways to help you achieve that goal. You don't have to worry about, is this invoice finance or is this type of loan? That's really what we help with. Gotcha. So if you don't go through us, then maybe there's an advisor you can talk to, or someone that can talk you through that, because I think there's a lot of devil in the detail when it gets to that point. Big time. But the best advice is to be proactive, get your rolling cash flow forecast, and think about it before you're in an emergency or a last minute decision making mode.
What are the kind of variances or types of interest rates that people will get? Obviously, it will differ, because you see it on the different securities that will they use a house, vehicle, or whatever. What can people in, say, a hospitality business Are people lending to hospitality businesses in this economic environment?
Yeah,
and what kind of interest rates would they roughly get?
It varies hugely. So there are banks and then non-bank providers. And then it depends on which, are you securing it against an asset? So general rule of thumb is if you're securing against an asset, like your property or an asset, I think currently maybe around the 11% for an asset purchase, or your business overdraft, I think with the bank is currently sitting average 11, so 10 to 15%, let's say. With non-bank providers, they can be, they typically are higher, but they also have different pros and cons again, but more flexibility. Maybe the non-bank providers may lend to businesses that are smaller, that the bank might not lend to. So I think they often get 15 to 20, 25 plus if it's unsecured. Gotcha. It's a massive range. With the security, it's usually a lower rate, but you also have that asset on the line, whereas with an unsecured, it might be a higher rate, but there's nothing, there's no security against it. So what we always say is because it ranges so much in business lending, a lot more than with home loans, for example, right? Like there are points differences.
It's completely different.
It's super different. There are so many different variables to it. So what we actually say to business owners is look at the actual cost. So what is this going to cost you over the years, like an actual dollar? Because sometimes the interest rate can be misleading too. Different providers quote interest rates differently. This is a lot more standardized in the home lending space, but in the business lending, sometimes they'll advertise monthly interest. And so in your head, you go, 5%, 6%, that sounds great. But actually, if you map it out over the year, it's a lot higher. So we always say, number one, look at the actual dollar cost. And we actually started to build that into our platform. Is not just the percentage, because it's really hard to, I can't do the maths in my head when I see those. I can't. So we try to actually map out the dollar cost of paying back that loan. So you know exactly, this is the loan amount. I'm going to get, a 100K loan, and it's going to take me 120 or 130K to pay it back over the course of 2 years. So look at the actual dollar cost. Also, if there are any, apart from the interest rate, you may have some establishment fees, service fees. There are a lot of fees that may play into it. Get the actual amount.
The real cost.
The real cost, number one. Number two is the length of it.
What are those terms?
So I'm going really nitty gritty here.
That's cool.
Number two is the term.
The length. So that's the term, the number of years that it takes to pay all months.
Correct.
Takes to pay the loan back.
So sometimes for the business, it may make sense to get a really short-term loan. It might be higher interest, but it just gets you through a few months. It allows you to, a lot of customers come to us, we just expanded into a new city and we want some new jobs. Trading last year came, we just expanded to Wellington and we got a new job, but now we need to pay people and pay for the supplies to actually fund that job. So this is a very short-term need. And so they might be looking at 6 months and it gets them through setting up that job, fulfilling the work, and then they'll get paid. But in other cases, for example, when you purchase an asset, it's a lot more common to do 2 to 5 years terms. So you can actually spread out the cash flow, because obviously it's a very big expense to go, I'm going to pay for this 200K piece of equipment out of 1 month. It will likely be it's a high expenditure. So you want to spread it out over longer. So loan term is more about thinking about the purpose. What do you need this for? And make sure it works for your cash flow.
Gotcha.
That's why your cash flow forecast is so important in the first place.
Wow. So many pieces you have to think about.
So many pieces. Wow. And the third thing is flexibility. So I think sometimes the money, life happens in business especially. A new job comes in and you don't want to wait 6 weeks to get a response from maybe a more traditional provider. Sometimes you just need the money as soon as possible. So then it can pay off to go to some providers that are, there might be a higher cost to it in short term, but you can get it when you actually need it, rather than 6 weeks go past, you lose that job, none of that revenue ever comes in. So I think flexibility is really a key part of it. And also, can you repay it early? Some providers might penalize you, some don't. So I would just look for those types of things. Yeah.
What are some of the common mistakes that businesses make when borrowing funds?
The main one is just looking at the interest rate percentage. Yep. That's why I think it's so important to look at the actual cost, because sometimes there is an establishment fee, there's a service fee, there are all these other fees, right? It's the same in your personal investing. Yes, you might get a great return when you invest in something, but there's also all these fees that go out. So look at the whole thing, look at the whole cost. That's the number one thing I can recommend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How long do businesses have to be running before they can apply for a business loan?
We have some providers on the panel that do fund new purchases of businesses or new starts, especially if you have private property or some other assets or some own capital you can put in. Yep. Some lenders will be able to help, may be able to help with that as well. The more common scenario is usually 4 to 6 months minimum trading time. Okay. So you've incorporated, you've been running, you've been making some money. And we always say it gets a lot easier once you're minimum 6 months in market and you make, depends on the lender we have on the panel, but probably 6 to 10K revenue per month. That's the point where you can start to get some of those cash flow lending options typically.
Awesome.
Yeah, but they're always paths. So I always say just explore your options. Yeah. And there may be different paths depending on the different provider they can help you with. So there's no straightforward answer. Yeah. You can tell a lot of it is I'm giving you it depends. Yeah. Because there's so much nuance in this.
I do say that a lot as a home lender. Yeah. You know, I'm like, it depends on your incomes, your deposits, how much debt you have. Yeah, so I totally relate. You know that,
yeah. I wish I could just give people a straight. It's this rate, this time.
So the best thing is to get in touch, really, eh? Yeah. And then that way you can go through the application and get those questions answered.
Tell us about your business. Yeah. Have your finances up to date. Tell us what you want to achieve. Yeah. And then it's all online. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't impact your credit score, and you can see and test the market, see what options are available to you and to your business. Awesome. And sometimes the answer might be it's too early, but maybe if you do put in a bit more of your own capital or you run for another few months, then some options might open up if you're that early stage. Yep. We find as soon as you're running and you're already a couple years in market, you have a couple staff, you have 10K monthly revenue or more, it gets a lot easier. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Hey, can you give us an example of a business who have recently kind of come on and got some lending for you guys for a particular purpose? Yeah.
Yes. Which one do I pick? So one was actually an accounting firm, interestingly.
Oh, nice.
So we do have a few professional services companies that also come through to us. And it was really funny because I think the accountant was initially just more curious about the platform and then came through and got some real quotes. Wow. And I remember her saying to me, I'm so surprised because I know the space. I'm so surprised how quick this was and how quick I got responses. Wow. And now it actually got me thinking of how I can use the capital to expand my services. So they've used it to basically hire another person, invest in and then be able to onboard more clients. Yeah, wow. So that was a really cool example. Another customer recently came through tradie business. They just wanted ongoing. They had the same issue every year. They were telling me every time in December, January, we have a cash flow lump. And I want to get out of, I just don't want to go through that same pain every year. So I just want a buffer to tap into.
Just to smooth out that.
Yeah. Correct. And so they finally went, okay, this is the year I'm going to set it up. I'm going to get myself sorted. And they came to us and got a small facility, like a line of credit. It's like an overdraft, basically a bucket of money you can tap into as you only pay when you actually use it. They got a facility for 50K. And so that smooths out their any seasonal gaps every year. Yeah. Yep. And so now they're set up and sorted.
Oh, wow.
For the years to come. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So, how long does it take from completing an application to actually getting the loan money in your account to use?
It depends.
I had a feeling that was coming.
The fastest we've seen was 2 to 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so super fast.
Wow.
This is from
Can be, yeah.
you sign up, you get quotes on the same day.
Interesting.
And then you compare and you actually make a decision. And then you just finalize the terms with the lender you choose on our panel. Yeah. And especially if it's an unsecured loan, those are usually the fastest to get. Yeah. So that's not secured against your property or your asset or anything. That's just against your cash flow.
Yeah.
Those are usually the fastest. They can deploy the funds. Same on within 24 hours they advertise. Yeah. And we've seen that happen. So that's the fastest. And then sometimes it's a bit more complicated. There are some assets behind it. They need to do a bit more final analysis. Yeah. Look through, at the end, obviously they'll do a credit check and they'll do all their final checks and balances. And so that can take 2 weeks, let's say, from initial comparison through to actually getting the funds, which is still pretty fast, to be fair.
Yeah. That's
because
really
sometimes through traditional providers, you wait 6 weeks for an initial response. And then you only start.
And then can you give me the financial statements or whatever?
Yeah, you'll know this. You work with the...
Give me a forecast,
Yeah.
The standard.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and speed really matters. Timing matters.
Yeah.
When you run a business, you know this. It's just, you're
got
so
payroll,
busy.
You got all these things coming out. Yeah.
Exactly. So we really try to make it as fast as possible, but at the same time, it's a balance of don't make a hasty decision and look at all your options.
True.
And really think through so you make the best choice for your business. So we're always trying to balance that.
Awesome. Let's take a quick kind of pivot to personal finances.
Yes.
So, how is are you a great budgeter? Are you good with money? Do you class yourself good with money?
I learned to be good with money. I don't think I love budgeting. I'm not sure if anyone does, to be fair. So I really got into investing many years ago.
Wow.
Because I always had
shares.
Yep, shares, and because I always had a lot of male friends in my circle through my uni and everything, I always heard a lot of guys talk about, I'm investing in this stock, and it just sounded so cool. and I thought, I never got taught anything about investing, neither in school nor through family or anyone around me. So I thought one day I'm going to learn everything there is about it. And I don't think I know everything, but I know a lot more than I did before.
Cool.
So I read, I think 5, 6, 7 books on the same topic of how do you invest, how do you get ahead. And the same, even though everyone has a different philosophy, the same themes kind of emerged over time.
They are very similar, aren't they?
Yeah, in a way. So I started to actually put money. I was employed at that time. So for a long time, I was an employee, so I had stable income. And I was really lucky to be able to put aside something. And so I read that the common advice was to put some actual cash aside for your savings. Cool. So I have 3 months, which some people I think say you should do longer, but that's
that kind of emergency fund.
Exactly. If something happens, 3 months, I easily have that right there and available.
Nice.
But I do everything else that I had, I tried to move into extra investments.
Awesome.
Because if the money just sits there, even in a savings account with 1 or 2% interest, it doesn't, with inflation often higher than that, it actually lose money.
Yeah,
so
correct.
I really wanted to understand this whole investing thing. And I then read that investing in these individual stocks wasn't always the smartest thing to do because it's a very high risk bet in one particular company.
Nice.
And so then I learned about diversification.
Awesome.
And so that's been kind of the philosophy. And I've been trying. So I have a bit in my own property.
Awesome.
And managed to get that. And then have the rest in index funds.
Cool.
And I know you had some really amazing guests on this podcast already that talked a lot about personal finance. So I basically follow all of these people and follow their advice. I'm not going to repeat their advice, but I basically try.
It's cool to hear your take on it as well.
Yeah. So I have a lot in index funds. So that's just through platforms that allow me to invest in the total world market.
Yes. Yep.
It's very low cost and it's very diversified. Yeah. That's what I've been trying to follow. So I've bid in that and bid in property.
Awesome.
So if one is down, property currently is down.
I think everyone's property is down.
So at least, but the funds have done well. And so I think that just showed you can't put all your eggs into one basket.
Totally.
You just have to spread your risks. And so that's the advice I've been following. In terms of budgeting, I was never really good at it. I think it's such a slog to update your budget every month. I haven't met anyone who enjoys doing that so far. So what I
love it. No, I don't.
Oh. I don't know how people do it. So what I'd done was I took stock once of all my transactions, and I did an initial analysis of where does money go, very roughly, and whether there was some improvements to make.
Yep.
And then I just actually automated my setup, which I think was the best thing to do.
Yep.
So every month when the salary came in at that point,
cool.
I would automatically transfer out, $100 into that savings, $100 into my investment.
Yep.
And that's been running for a few years while I was employed.
Yeah.
And you kind of forget about it, and it just works in the background. And it really worked because I didn't have to do, I didn't have to do detailed budgeting every month.
Yes.
I just knew if I do set that money aside every month right away, I'll just look at their bank balance and I see when I'm going close.
Yeah, that's what I can spend.
Yeah.
The rest of it is already saved.
Exactly. Yeah. So that really helped me personally.
Nice.
So then I was employed for a good 10 years here in New Zealand before the last couple of years, I've been basically self-employed or, working on the business. And that has those 10 years of doing that has allowed me to do what I do now, which is being part of a business and using some of these investments and savings I've had over all these years.
Yeah, great.
So it paid off.
What should a business do to, in regards to their kind of personal finances as a business?
As a business owner, I think...
Should it be similar?
I'm not sure what the right
way
is.
I suppose all the businesses are very different.
It's so different.
Cash flow needs.
Yeah, but I know that if you have a buffer yourself, you tend to take more risks. And if you want to start a business, you have to take a risk.
Yeah,
you just never know, is it going to work out? How quickly are we going to make money? Am I going to be able to pay myself? So when there were months where I didn't have any income while I was tinkering and pitching different ideas, there was no money coming in, but because I've built that buffer, I was able to pursue that with a bit more ease, a peace of mind.
I totally know what you mean.
So that I found personally really valuable because it can be really stressful. You're running a business, it's extremely stressful. You're already worried about business cash flow every day. So now if you're also worried about your personal finances, and I think that took me a long time, probably still is, to get used to. If you move from, getting your paycheck every month to it's different.
I totally get it. Like, because I started my mortgage company last year, and then obviously doing Fresh Moni as well, we de-risked. Because I can carry risk quite easily, but my wife has a lower risk profile, which I totally understand.
Me too.
And I do not want to stress her out. So we sold our properties, and we have money there for whatever needs, but we're not stressed. And we're renting. We're focusing on is to grow the businesses.
I love that. That is, that's brilliant because it gives you that peace of mind.
And we're still working as a team. But I've taken into account my risk profile and my wife's as well. And it's not just mine because we work as a team to make this, dream, the businesses successful. So,
I love that. So I definitely see also on Bizzy side, especially the ones that are starting a business that I talk to, the providers also like to see that you're putting in some of your own capital. So I guess if you are thinking about starting a business, to get prepared probably a couple years ahead, put some money aside, because it will just make a lot of things easier once you get to it. Like you're saying, it's high risk, right? And so you want to make sure you can sleep at night. And know that you'll be fine, even if this may not work as fast as you think. That's right. It would.
And you can make decisions with a clearer head. You're not making them in a stress mode. You're just like, actually, my head's not worried about paying the bills or anything.
Exactly.
It's concerned about making things work. Yeah.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you for selling those properties. That just shows all the commitment to those businesses.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I have one final question for you. I ask all my guests this. What does wealth mean to you?
Freedom. Do I have to expand?
If you can.
That was a very quick fire answer. To me, wealth is freedom because it just, in my mind, I picture it in, it's not a number. It's just whatever it means to you in terms of an amount that allows you to do things that you want to do in your life.
Yeah, awesome.
If you're stuck in a system and you feel like you're always one step behind, that restricts you and you don't have the freedom to make your life choices the way you want to. And to me, it does not have to be $1 million in the bank account, but just that amount that I know that if I want to, explore a new life opportunity, do something, move country, whatever it may be, that I have the freedom to do so. And so for me, wealth is just having enough on my assets or finances that allows me to take risks and to make life choices.
Yeah, awesome.
Freely.
Awesome. Oh, sorry, one more question. What's the dream for Bizzy?
Our dream is to help a lot more business owners.
Yeah, cool.
We talked about it. It feels like we've been working on this problem space for so long, but we are on day one.
Yeah, awesome.
So we're working hard to bring more providers on board, more options, and also work really closely with those business owners to make sure we present quotes and all the finance terms as best as we can so they can make a transparent choice. And so for me, the dream is that we help a lot more Kiwi businesses find the right capital so they can just forget about the capital or forget about the finance part so they can actually grow and ultimately achieve their business vision and their business goals. That's what we really want to achieve.
Really cool, really cool. Well, Corinna, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Fresh
having
Moni.
me. That was
It's been
amazing.
awesome. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
With Bizzy. I hope it becomes the success that you are dreaming of.
Thank you. Same with your business.
Oh, thank you. But you will have all
cool.
your links below. If there are businesses out there who are wanting to touch base, we'll make sure we put them in the right direction.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a blast.